When people talk about TV shows that left a permanent mark on pop culture, there's one name that always finds its way into the conversation: Justified. This neo-western not only redefined an entire genre but also turned Timothy Olyphant into a household name. What's fascinating is that Olyphant's journey into Western television actually started before Justified, when he played Sheriff Seth Bullock in HBO's gritty classic Deadwood. That role introduced audiences to his commanding presence, but it was Justified that transformed him into a television legend. Olyphant's success on the show opened massive doors. Suddenly, he was working with celebrated directors like Quentin Tarantino and Oliver Stone, and stepping into blockbuster universes like Star Wars, Alien, and Terminator. His career might have soared to new heights, but Justified itself deserves the spotlight. It wasn't just a stepping stone for Olyphant, it was and still is one of the finest pieces of television ever created. For decades, westerns dominated television, often following a familiar formula: lone heroes, dusty towns, and episodic adventures where every story wrapped up neatly by the end. But when Justified arrived, it completely changed the rules. Inspired by Elmore Leonard's story Fire in the Hole, the series gave us Deputy U.S. Marshal Raylan Givens, a modern-day gunslinger navigating a world where old frontier justice collides with present-day crime. At first, the show mirrored the classic Western rhythm, delivering case-of-the-week episodes reminiscent of The Lone Ranger. But as the seasons went on, the storytelling evolved. What started as straightforward adventures grew into layered arcs that stretched across episodes and sometimes entire seasons. The result was a show that blended high-octane action with long-term character development, creating stakes that only got higher the deeper you went. What really set Justified apart was its ability to breathe new life into the Western archetype. Raylan wasn't riding through the deserts of the 1800s, he was navigating the lawless corners of modern America. That balance of tradition and reinvention gave the show a freshness that so many imitators couldn't capture. And imitators did come. Yellowstone drew massive attention with its family feuds and ranchland drama, but it leaned more towards soap opera than Western grit. Outer Range dared to mix sci-fi with its cowboy aesthetics, only to drown in its own tangled mysteries. Even Longmire, while compelling in its own right, never quite carved its own identity the way Justified did. Raylan Givens stood alone, a character who felt both timeless and uniquely modern. The impact of Justified didn't fade after its finale. The love for the series was so strong that FX brought it back in 2023 with Justified: City Primeval. This revival shifted Raylan from Kentucky to Detroit, adapting another of Elmore Leonard's stories while proving that the characters still had more tales to tell. Fans quickly embraced the return, and whispers of a second season of City Primeval suggest that Raylan Givens might not be done with us just yet. Looking back, Justified wasn't just another TV drama. It was a show that honored the past while reshaping the future of an entire genre. It gave us a hero who felt like he could have ridden out of the Old West yet fit seamlessly into our world today. And maybe that's why, years later, people still talk about it, still rewatch it, and still hope for more. Because some stories aren't meant to be forgotten, they're meant to be retold over and over with the same fire that made them classics in the first place.